Hare Krishna. So this event that I'm going to tell about happened in around about 2007 or 2008. You have to know a little bit about the location. I was in New Zealand at the time, and I was, for about 3 or 4 days, I was living all alone in a very large house near a place called Warkworth. The specific location was called Ridge Road. That was the name of the street, Ridge Road. And Mahorangi East was the name of the little village. And the nearest neighbor was about half a mile away. It was a pretty remote location, and you had to go down a very steep hill in a vehicle. The cement road, the driveway, was about a third of a mile long, and it went down very steeply down. And this house was built on a very steep hill. And you could, because New Zealand is a very picturesque place, you could actually see the ocean from there. So one day in that year, when I was living alone in that house, which was only for a few days, I heard a vehicle coming down the drive, and then it stopped. So I went outside to see what was going on. I was shaven-headed and wearing my dhoti and kurta as usual, and there were 5 people in a car that had driven down. Most of them were big people. They were muscular, and they were tough-looking, and they had scars on their arms and faces, and tattoos all over their faces. And they weren't expecting someone that looked like me to come out. They did knock on the door. That's one thing I can say. They knocked on the door after I came out just to see if there was anyone else in there. And then they ascertained that I was alone. And the only words that one of them said to me, I guess he was the leader, he said, "You Kung Fu?" Kung Fu is a kind of a martial art. And I guess they knew that people who knew a lot about Kung Fu could fight with several people and be victorious. So as soon as they said Kung Fu, I didn't know what to say. I sort of knew what they were talking about, but I just kind of smiled halfway and nodded my head because I didn't know what else to say. And as soon as they said that and they saw me, they just turned around, got back in their car, and drove up the hill, drove up the driveway, and took off, and I never saw them again. That really happened.